Dan Howell and Phil Lester are finally taking control of the narrative. The two British YouTubers kick off the North American leg of their third joint tour Terrible Influence on Sunday, October 6 in Seattle, Washington. Over the next 2 months, they will be bringing their show across the States and Canada with stops planned in New York City, San Diego, Los Angeles, Toronto and Nashville, among others. In an exclusive interview with People, the duo, who have a shared following of over 12 million subscribers on YouTube, talk about their recent comeback and venturing into uncharted waters with their fans through their new show. This is definitely the era of not giving AF, Dan, 33, tells us. We're older now and so is our audience. We've all kind of grown up together. After Dan and Phil's Interactive Introverts tour in 2018, the two went in different directions with their careers as Dan's YouTube channel was put on hiatus, along with their shared channel Dan and Phil GAMES. During this time, Dan published the #1 New York Times best-selling mental health book You Will Get Through This Night and embarked on a 2022 solo comedy tour called We're All Doomed. Meanwhile, Phil, 37, continued to grow his own YouTube channel Amazing Phil. Through it all, Dan says that Phil wanted them to revisit their gaming channel, which went on break in December 2018 before returning in October 2023 with a dramatic announcement video that saw their signature sim character popping out of a coffin. From there, coming home to their joint brand felt natural and they started to plan their third tour in December 2023. It was an accident, Dan explains. This is not something that we had an evil agenda for. It is something that kind of naturally, accidentally formed. We decided to come back. We posted some stuff as Dan and Phil again and, I think, what happened was neither of us had any idea how horny people would be for Dan and Phil again. Phil admits to instigating their return, saying, I have kind of been the evil angel or devil, based on what you think. I've been on Dan's shoulder, whispering in his ear, saying, what if we came back? What if we did a tour? Dan claims, at the time, he was sat in the corner, rocking backwards and forwards like, are we sure? Dan and Phil again, is the world ready for that? But it worked out, didn't it? Phil quips. Even when it came to their solo projects, the two still functioned as a team. For Dan's solo tour, Phil received a production credit as his remote crisis manager. I was ready for a bit of a breather, Phil recalls. But then I started to miss it and I got a bit of FOMO when I saw Dan doing his tour. I was like, you know what? That looks so fun and I've not seen my audience in 7 years. During this time of transition in their careers, Dan and Phil both publicly came out as gay in videos uploaded in June 2019 on their respective channels and have since been recognized in YouGov's top 10 list of public figures that young LGBTQ+ people in Britain say helped them feel more comfortable growing up, among the likes of Lady Gaga and RuPaul. This tour marks Phil's first time interacting with fans on stage since coming out. A lot of our fans are some level of queer. So it's really nice to kind of connect with them, being like, yes, I'm one of you and I never said it before, he says. I feel part of that community. With their stage show, which will play 70 performances worldwide through February 2025, Phil wants his fans to come away feeling like they've had a lot of fun. However, it also has a deeper narrative as Dan says. I think it's basically asking the question, fundamentally, were Dan and Phil, the internet and people, who create content a force for good? Or have we destroyed the world? Dan hopes that unpacking their past with brutal honesty will heal their fans. We want everyone to leave feeling like, oh, there we go, water under the bridge. I'm happy with who I am. I like these guys. I had a good time. What a fresh take on life, he explains. Phil first joined YouTube in March 2006, whereas Dan joined in October 2009 after connecting with Phil online, thus launching their joint brand. Throughout their time together on the platform, they have fostered a tight-knit, but sometimes challenging relationship with their fans.